We have with us Amar Singh, head of advisory at Angel Broking now, joining in to talk to us. Amar, talk to me about the Nifty. It has been stuck in a range. What sort of an option strategy can one adopt in a range-bound trade like we are seeing right now?
Yeah, looking at the way Nifty has been trading over the last few days, definitely the overall sentiment remains bullish. So what we see is that on any correction there is a buying that's coming in Nifty. But more or less what we're also seeing is that the higher side seems to be capped because currently it's around 10,350, so 10,400, 450 levels. So technically speaking, yes, the stock overall, Nifty overall is displaying a positive trend, but the trend, the momentum seems to be slightly losing given the lack of triggers. If you look at the strategies that one can really play out, I would say that it's more or less a very sideways market. So if with a positive bias, so if one wishes to look at buying, then one can buy Nifty futures. Nifty futures can be a buy somewhere in the region of 10,000. 330, 335 can be a buy with a stop loss of 10,290 and with a target of 10,390.95 levels.
Right. Amar, and this is what you'd recommend running up until expiry, or this is more of a call for the next 2 days?
Yeah, it's basically a call for the next few days, I would say. Primarily, it could be for today and tomorrow. And if the stop loss is not getting triggered, then it can be carried forward.
Right. Also, a few stocks that are catching my attention this morning are a few names that are seeing some sort of gain. So you've got all of these jewelry stocks that are having a fairly decent morning. SRF is one counter that had seen a price volume breakout in the first few minutes of trading. What is the trade on SRF at 1841, already high by 3.5%?
Yeah, looking at SRF, what we are seeing is that SRF is definitely technically very strong on the charts. If you look at the medium-term trend, I'm looking at the weekly charts, it's very strong on the weekly charts. Overall, on the monthly charts, what we are seeing is that it will meet with resistance somewhere around in the region of 1860, 1870. But on the daily charts also, it's strong. So any pullback can be used as a buying opportunity. The level to watch out for, or the level that one can enter, is somewhere around 1825 to 1820 with a stop loss below 1800 and a target of 1875.
Right. Some of these Adani Group companies usually are trader favorites. So far, the series has been very dull for Adani Ports, Adani Enterprise and Adani Power. Right now as well, there's fresh shorting that some of these names are seeing. Would it be a fair call to initiate a short trade on these counters for the day?
Yeah, looking at overall the Adani Group and also looking at Adani Ports, what I see is that most of the stocks are displaying similar patterns. What I mean by that is that technically speaking, it is showing a lack of momentum on the upside. And on the daily charts, the stock is definitely, any pullback is being used as a shorting opportunity. But I would say that these are not levels to short because technically speaking, on the daily charts, the Adani Port, for example, is in an oversold territory. And also the downside, there is support somewhere in the region of around 400 levels. So that's not a good level to short. If one looks at shorting, because currently it's around 410 levels. So if one wishes to short, then that level would be around 414, 416 level with a stop loss above 422 and a target somewhere around 403 or so.
What are you doing with some of these cement names? There was some buying that was seen on counters yesterday, barring, of course, the north part of India's cement players. So Dalmia, Star, Ramco. Are these looking like good positional calls, if not intraday or for the next day or two?
Yeah, overall, looking at the cement stocks, what we are seeing in particular that after the sharp correction, they are more or less, I would say, the steam currently is not there on the upside. So if I'm looking at Ramco technically on the charts, it's not going anywhere. So anyone wanting to buy in Ramco, what we see is on the downside, somewhere around 685, 690. That's the downside support. On the upside, 730 to 740. That's a major resistance zone, because on the weekly charts also, if I look at it, it's not gone anywhere. On the daily charts, it's also not showing any signs of any bullish momentum. So I would say that overall the cement stocks currently one should have a wait and watch policy, because I don't see much action immediately there.
What about ICICI Pru, Amar? There's heavy shorting that the stock is seeing. There is some proposal in the North Block where they would be looking to increase taxes, I believe. Anything on ICICI Pru? Would you be brave and short ICICI Pru or any of the other insurance names?
Yeah, ICICI Pru, overall what we are seeing is that it has consistently, I'm looking at the weekly charts, it's been consistently trading down. Once it made a high of almost 507. And then it's been on a sell mode from there onwards, currently around 382. So technically what I see is that some of these stocks are in oversold territory on the weekly charts. And that clearly reflects is that the downside seems to be supported. Means if I look at ICICI Pru, 370 is a very strong support level for ICICI Pru, because that was roughly the low that was made few days back. Whereas on the upside, again, as I said, since the overall trend on the intermediate term trend remains bearish, so higher side towards 395, 400, that's a level of a very clear-cut resistance for ICICI Pru. So what we will see is that the stock could now go in a trading range with 365, 370 on the downside to act as extremely strong support. But again, on the upside, 395, 400, that would be a level of resistance to watch out for. So I don't see much of an action in this stock in the immediate future.
Amar, stay with Amar, Tata Elxsi, big run yesterday, took a bit of a break towards closing and again up 2% as we speak. At 964, Tata Elxsi looks like an opportunity for a fresh long.
Yeah, overall, looking at Tata Elxsi, it has been in a consolidation, but overall, looking at the trend from a short-term, medium-term, as well as long-term, the trend is extremely strong. And even on the monthly charts, it's breached key resistance levels, because earlier 920, 930, that was a level that was taken out. So any pullback in this stock definitely should be used as a buying opportunity. And the level that one can enter, because today also it has witnessed a sharp up move. So the level that one can enter is somewhere around 950, 955. That could be a level to enter with a stop loss below 940. And the target is somewhere around 985.
Right. What about TVS? We've already talked about that, but anything else in that space that's looking good, Amar?
Yeah, looking at TVS, what we're seeing is that TVS is, the trend definitely remains extremely strong on the monthly charts, on the medium-term charts, as well as on the short-term charts. So clearly it is again, but at the same time, I would say that it's in overbought territory across different time frames. So that clearly shows that the upside momentum would meet with some resistance. But any pullback, since it is in an overall, I would say, uptrend, so any pullback towards 720 levels can be a buying opportunity with a stop loss below 710 and a target of 745 to 750.
Amar, also we've talked about stocks that we've spotted, but anything else that you've identified in the last hour and a half? Any spots for an intraday call for the day? Anything that our viewers can sort of, initiate right now?
Yeah, there's a call on GAIL November futures, because what we are seeing in GAIL is that it's very strong on the long-term charts as well as the medium-term charts. So any pullback towards 463, 465 can be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss of 454.7 and target of 483. The next stock to look at is KPIT. Again, November futures. What we're seeing in KPIT that it has witnessed extremely strong move, and it's up by almost 60% since the start of October, from 120 levels to almost 180 levels. And technically, it's very strong on the chart. So any pullback towards 173, 174 can be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss of 169 and a target of 183.
Right. Anything on Bank Nifty? It is a weekly expiry as well. Any banking names, any trades on Bank Nifty itself, any option sort of calls here?
Yeah, what we are seeing in Bank Nifty, I would say that Bank Nifty is more or less trading sideways, because Since yesterday, it's been completely trading sideways. So generally what we see is that on the expiry day, we see a lot of volatility, but that's missing today. So I would say that Bank Nifty on the upside till the time it does not really trade above 25,820-25 levels. Currently, it's around 25,792-93. And on the downside, again, it's very narrow. It's somewhere around support comes at 25,720 to 25. So I would say it's more or less a very sideways trade for today. If the upside is breached, 25,820 is breached, then a call option intraday can be initiated. But otherwise, I would suggest that it's more or less flat till such time.
What is the call on Hexaware? Anything on Hexaware right now? I mean, it's not seeing a big move, but there's fresh longs and there's enough open interest being added too. Anything on Hexaware, Amar?
Yeah, Hexaware, what we're seeing is that over the last few trading sessions, I would say precisely around 8 to 10 trading sessions, it's been completely range bound, 320 on the downside and somewhere around 330, 340 on the upside. But yes, what we see on the charts is that it is definitely very strong and positive on the charts. So any pullback towards 328, 325 levels can be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss of 318 and a target of 348 to 350 levels.
Zee, Sun TV and Dish TV are all seeing fresh longs again in trade right now. Open interest addition to the tune of 4 to 5%. Anything on these counters? Any spots here?
Yeah, looking at Zee in particular, what we are seeing in Zee is that Zee has been able to hold firmly, and this week also has been positive for Zee. It's up by almost 4 to 5%, and yesterday also was a very positive day for Zee. So technically speaking, it's strong on the charts. Yes, we did see some consolidation over almost a month or so, where on the downside the support was around 520 and the upside that resistance was around 550. So that consolidation zone has been taken out and currently it's trading around 560. So any pullback towards 554, 555 can be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss below 550 and a target of 570.
Arvind, would you look to trade Arvind? It's again been in a range, but we are seeing fresh longs on the counter right now. I think 438, 439 is what it's trading at the day's high. Anything on Arvind at these levels?
Yeah, Arvind, what we're seeing is that it is definitely very strong on the intermediate term trend. If I'm looking at on the weekly charts, on the monthly charts also it's positive. Daily charts, what we've seen is that on the downside, we did witness some correction from almost 460 levels to around 415, 420. Currently it's around 435, 36. Daily chart does not inspire too much of confidence in the sense that what it means is that somewhere the upside seems to be capped, but with the overall trend remaining positive, if one wants to initiate a trade in Arvind on the buy side, then the level to enter is somewhere around 425 levels with a stop loss of 418 and a target of 440 to 45.
Right. I'm just looking at the list of other stocks that are doing quite well. So you've got Fortis Healthcare. Anything on Fortis and Future Retail as well? Future Retail saw a strong up move yesterday and that's continuing to gain strength. There have been a few brokerage upgrades as well. But anything on Fortis and Future Retail? Both of them are up 4%.
Yeah, looking at Fortis, what we've seen is that Fortis has been completely beaten down. If you look at it, the way the stock has been cracking from almost 220 levels to around 130, the 130 currently. What we've seen is for the last couple of days, it's bounced back since yesterday from 125 to 131 levels. But yes, what we see in Fortis is that the stock is in oversold territory. So somewhere or the other, the stock is finding support. But I would suggest that since the overall trend remains bearish for Fortis, so one should avoid till we see some consolidation around 125, 130 levels. And if the stock sustains continuously above 134, 35 levels, then the stock could actually have a change of trend. Otherwise, I would say that it's better to avoid Fortis right now.
That's an avoid coming in unless you see a change in trend on the stock. Thanks, Amar. Good talking to you this morning. Those are, of course, stocks to keep on your radar and option strategies coming in from Amar.